Hi friends, the rise of China and its implications on India. This is the topic today. So the first implication is that China has become extremely hegemonic, arrogant and hostile to India. Such wild behavior of China is based on Chinese unrealistic, negative perception of India. There are certain common issues between the two, between China and India, which issues in fact are the mirrors, which shows the extent of Chinese negative, unrealistic perception of India. I will take up all these issues one by one. In the first group of issues are the three aspects. The first is border dispute, then POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, then revocation of Article 370 and promulgation of Ladakh as Union Territory. All three are linked together. So let's go with border dispute first. Border dispute for India is the crux of all the problems. And for China, this is mere insignificant issues. This is not significant issues. Here is the basic difference of perception about border dispute between India and China. China says only issue is unsettled over border dispute. What that issue is Arunachal. They claim Arunachal as their sovereign territory. What they say, the moment Arunachal goes out of India and come down to China, then there is no problem. No problem is left there. As regards Aksai Chin, they don't even accept Aksai Chin as a disputed territory. You can imagine. This is their concept. Anyway, so therefore, settlement of resolution to the border dispute is no priority of China at all. What is their priority? Their priority is only POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. How does Pakistan occupied Kashmir is Pakistan occupied? Where does China comes? So my submission is yes, China is also there. Around 5,000 square kilometers of area of POK is also under China. That was ceded by Pakistan to China in 1963 after 62 war. So we should not call it only POK. We should also call it COK. Not only Pakistan occupied Kashmir, but also China occupied Kashmir. This is not the end here. Even China has made heavy investment over there. Big projects are there. Belt and Road, Karakoram Highway, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, all are there only. So is the reason China is suspecting the revocation of Article 370 and also promulgation of Ladakh as Union Territory. They find here ulterior motive of India. What is ulterior motive? They see that this is India's planning. Sooner or later, India will get back POK by force. So if at all it happens, then what will happen to their heavy projects? Pakistan will not be loser. India's territory gone back to India. No loss of Pakistan. Heavy loss has to be there on China. That is why China is born. So this way, China is worried. Why worried? China has willingfully entered into the dispute on China's side. So this is no longer a dispute between India and China as regards POK is concerned. POK is also a dispute between India and China. India and Pakistan and also India and China is a common dispute. This is what the reality is there. And this is also the reason that China has deployed as many as more than 80,000 combative force on Ladakh border, so as to guard POK projects is not far away, very close to each other. Ladakh border where Chinese forces are there and the POK is very close to each other. From there they are watching, they are watchful, they are guarding if India is taking any military action. So that's why I said that border dispute, POK and revocation of article, all three are linked together. Okay, this is all about the first. Second aspect is political legacy. China says we have become communist, therefore we are free from colonial legacy. And what they say, India is also having colonial legacy. They also club India with USA. They call it the democracy in India and USA is a very weak system. What they call it, the crumbling system is not strong enough to sort out their domestic issue even. Forget about the foreign issues. This is what they are thinking, perception. I will explain all this aspect while I will be doing the analysis. Okay. Now, other one, USA-India relationship. They say today India and USA are strategic partners. But what they suspect that tomorrow, who knows, might India become a military alliance with USA. Not only might, they are sure also. India will be a military alliance with USA. This is their concept. Let them say, I will explain each and everything. Then other aspect is, other issue is neighborhood and global south. What China says that India's relation with the neighborhood based on their common culture and history is not correct. They say rather China is close to them, neighborhood. Their common culture is there, common history is there. This is their concept. They also say global south. Global south is also not close to India. They are close to China. Anyway, China is applying debt trap issues, debt trap policy to attract them. India neighborhood countries, small countries, and global south. So that India could be isolated, geopolitically isolated, in the region also, in the world also. This is a concept. And finally, last one, world order. Earlier China used to say that world order was triangular, consisting of USA, Soviet Union and China. Now Soviet Union does not exist. Therefore only two main players are there, USA and China. No Russia. And there is no question of India, of course. But after 2008, when there was a global financial crisis, this crisis has given China overconfidence. Since then, China started calling that now we are on the global stage, world stage. We have come to the world stage to dictate the whole world, even dictate to USA. This is what they call it. China is entitled to call themselves whatever they like it. This is what their perception is. If the current turbulent situation persists, then security dilemma between India and China is bound to be intensified. This is a fact. One cannot avoid it. More China rises, more Chinese hegemony gets intensified towards India. This is their behavior, and this kind of behavior continues. Problem, in fact, comes from mutual gap between perception and reality. This is the bottom line, not of the day, not of today, but it's coming from ever since 1962. This kind of behavior is the bottom line. Chinese rapid growth is on the peak, whereas India has just begun to rise. This is a big difference between the two. Anyway, the speed and the scale of China's rise is really astonishing. Surprise how China could come from so down to the up without loss of time. Anyway, but the fact of the day today, China declines, India rises. This is a fact, China should accept it. China, after all, is a world factory, there is no doubt. Master of world manufacturing. But India is also not a rogue state. India is also the hub of the world, particularly in services, software services. If both of them collaborate, if both of them cooperate each other, then both of them can repeat the history of 17th and 18th century, when both India and China alone produced almost 50% of the world economy. This can be a reality even today if at all they cooperate each other. They are already working together. So not only negativism all the way, positivism is also there. They are working in the WTO, World Trade Organization. Also working in climate changing organization. Both of them are working together in the groups, SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, BRICS, New Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. They are working together. And moreover, China is after all a big bilateral trade partner, second biggest in the world, second largest trade partner of India. China is after USA. They are cooperating. And China is also the source of inspiration for India. India inspired from China only to open, to reform economy and to go for fast growth. This is a fact. Anyway, immediate task for both of them to work together, there are 3-4 aspects. First is border dispute. China like or not to like, border dispute is a reality. It has to be settled, it has to be resolved. Neighborhood, China must stop poking nose into neighborhood. India is not a boss here. India is as good as any small country there. But why are you all the way coming to lure them with the money? Poor country, you are luring them money, attracting them. Money purpose is to isolate India. Then third aspect is trade deficit. Trade deficit between India and China is against India. Out of $136 billion bilateral trade is there annually, out of which $103 billion only China is exporting to India. India is exporting hardly $33 billion products. The big gap. Whatever India has trade deficit, worldwide problem, 40% lies only with China. China has to take care of this aspect. And moreover, competition in the geopolitics. Both of them are trying to pull their legs. At least China is doing it either in United Nations or here in the neighborhood or the global south, everywhere. It has to be stopped. Competition has to be there. There has to be a positive competition. Should not be negative one. Neither India nor China wants war. This is a fact, and this is a good fact. So, both must be competitive, having competitiveness, collaborativeness in the interest of both of them in future. Much better if at all they together set up competition management mechanism for to prevent competitions from escalating into confrontation. This is all about the issues between the two. Now let us see my analysis as I said earlier. The first of all, Chinese perception of India is the root cause of China, which has become arrogant, hegemonic, and hostile to India. So, perception is the problem. However, India shows the world, look at how India tackles China. Two extreme faces of China. One face on the border, other face on the trade, second highest in the world. And India is doing all these peaceful things, despite the fact China is encircling India, blocking India, putting all the impediments, putting all the roadblocks. One is complete negative, other is complete positive. This is what the fact is that. As regards, as I said earlier, about India may become military alliance with USA. The fact remains that neither India join any military alliance with anyone, nor India will do in future. I can say it with conviction. China should look itself. India never joined even any bloc. China was in both the bloc as a follower. Earlier with Soviet Union as a follower, then follower with America. India never been a follower of anyone, whatever big one is. India either a friend on equal terms or away from there, only maintaining balance, that's all. So, India will not be joining. China should think itself what was there, what will happen in future for them. Anyway, China's historical mistrust of India is the deep root, and this deep root is based on the sense of misplaced superiority of being a communist and also misreading democracy, saying that democracy is the inferior system. I would like to suggest China, please go through which system is better. This will be a good debate, communism versus democracy. Anyway, finally I would like to say that China must stop making mountain out of molehills. This is the end of my video. Thank you, each and every one of you.